Hello. So today we are going to talk about why the scale lies and also how food is energy, not just calories. So I encourage you get outside, get some sunshine, listen to this, go for a walk and just kind of open up your mind to some different possibilities. So I want you to start by thinking, what is one win that you've had from this past week? So it doesn't have to be a huge astronomical win. Maybe it was you woke up and when your alarm went off and you didn't want to stay in bed. You had more energy. Maybe you were able to sleep better. Maybe you tried mouth taping and you did it for a week straight. Or maybe you said no to a craving that you would normally have given into. So those are the things I want you to be celebrating. And I want you to truly realize that they're worth celebrating. So I want you to intentionally think of what you are going to be celebrating because that is going to be different for everyone. So I want you to start out and just find a calm spot to sit. We're going to just do a couple box breathing techniques. So you're going to inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. So it's in a box pattern. So sit down, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, plant your feet on the ground, and just take a couple cleansing breaths. You can sigh. That's a great way to release energy, the physiological sigh. And then I want you to just inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Last time, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And just shake off any energy from the day. I know the energy has been really crazy lately. There was recently a full moon over the weekend. There was a blood moon, there was a lunar eclipse, there was a shift yesterday in energy. So there's been a lot of energy going on in the world, and you might be feeling that. Maybe your kids are feeling that. So I want to encourage you, you're not alone. So that energy shift is real. Energies going on around us are real as well. So you can even just simply shake it off. You can, jump up and down. You can shake it off of you and get that energy off of you. So, a couple of topics that have come up recently is the struggle with the scale. So, a lot of people get hung up on what that number is on the scale. And I want to encourage you that the scale doesn't always just measure your fat loss alone. And it's also not measuring your healing and all of those non scale wins. It's measuring the fluctuations. There can be fluctuations because of a lot of different things going on in the body. The first one is water retention. Your body holds on to water when you eat more salt, if you're stressed out, if you're not sleeping well, or even during a hormonal shift. So you can be up 2 pounds overnight from water alone. That's not necessarily gaining fat, that's you retaining water and your body is holding onto it for a reason. So we need to make sure your body's in that safe state to be able to release that water too. And one thing that may cause you to hold on to more water is inflammation. So if you find that your body's fighting something, or maybe you have a little bit more inflamed area of your body might be holding on to more extra fluid to protect that area. So it is doing its job. Just know that we want to make sure that that water is coming off too. Hormonal fluctuations are another one. So, especially depending on where you're at in your cycle, you can fluctuate 2 to 5 pounds. So, don't be super discouraged if, depending where you're at in your cycle, your body is fluctuating in weight. That is very common, and that is your body's natural rhythm. And then digestion. If you haven't pooped, you're going to weigh more. So if you normally weigh yourself right away in the morning, and maybe you haven't pooped in 2 days, you're gonna weigh more because poop is weight, right? So or even if you ate a heavier meal the night before, maybe you're in the maintenance phase and you had a heavier meal, that scale is gonna reflect that food and water still in your system in the morning. So I want you to just kinda reframe your thinking that the scale is just one tool. What really matters are what's healing in your body and how you're feeling, and the scale can't capture that alone. So I will say the Aura Ring is a great way to capture that data, to look at your resilience score, to look at your stress, to look at your heart rate variability. So it is like a little hack into your body of what's going on. So the Aura Ring is great. If you don't have one, shoot me a message and I can get you connected with one because it is so nice to see the little insights into your body. And if I get out of tune or I'm feeling a little bit off, sometimes it'll call me out on it. It'll say, your resilience score is dropping or your temperature is higher. You might be fighting something off. And it gives you those clues like, oh, hey, I need to make sure that I'm paying attention to myself and I'm in tune with myself here. So the scale is only one tool. So we want to make sure we're making sure that we are noting all of the things, all the positives. So, waking up with more energy, sleeping through the night, gratitude is huge. Maybe you feel more calm and patient with your kids. Maybe your jeans fit looser. Maybe you have to buy new bras. That's a super common one. Your boobs might shrink because you've lost a lot of fat or having fewer sugar cravings in the afternoon, not having that afternoon slump. That is worth it in order, no matter what the scale says, that is worth it. So those are really the indicators your body's shifting into a healing state. So the next time the scale feels discouraging, remember your body's healing even if the scale's quiet. Sometimes we hit a plateau. If you do plateau for 3 days, I want you to make sure you reach out to me if your scale is not linked to Practice Better, because some of you, I don't have that access to your scale data. So make sure that you're putting your weight in so I'm able to guide you on that. And if you have 3 days where you don't have any weight loss during the release phase, there are things that we can do to help shift you back into that release mode. So I encourage you to grab a journal. And if you're listening to this on recording, you might have to pause and answer these questions as you go. So I want you to think, what are 3 ways I can measure progress in my health that have nothing to do with a number on the scale? So, what are 3 ways I can measure progress in my health that have nothing to do with the number on the scale? So, what are your non scale wins? I like to call them. And these are going to change every day. You are going to notice something different every day, every week, every month while you're going throughout this reset because you're not only resetting your body, you're resetting your life. So, I also want you to take note of what emotions come up for me when I step on the scale. And what would I rather choose to believe instead? What emotions come up for me when I step on the scale? And what would I rather choose to believe instead? So the scale is something that could be super frustrating. The scale is something, whether it's too high or too low, it could go both ways. So reframing your mindset behind that into shifting your body into a healing state is important. And then here's another one. How do my clothes, mood, or patience with my kids tell me more about my health than a number ever could? How do my clothes, my mood, or patience with my kids tell me more about my health than a number ever could? So that is going to be a true indicator of how calm your nervous system is. So if you are in a stressful situation and you're able to stay calm, your nervous system is in a calm state. That is a win. That is what we are striving for, is to make sure that nervous system is calm. So next we're going to talk a little bit about food. So, what I love about this is we're not just counting calories during the release phase. We are focusing on nourishing whole foods, making sure that you have enough of each category of food, so veggies, protein, fruits, and making sure that they're whole foods and not packaged foods. So we've really been trained to think about food in terms of calories, like how many calories in, how many calories out. But in reality, food is so much more than a number because food is true energy. It's information for your cells. It's the building blocks of your cells. This is why I encourage you to pray over your food. There are some people that will get home and lay all their groceries out on the table and pray over all of them at once. Because you know what? That food literally becomes a part of you. So it is building your cells. So we want to make sure that vibration in that food is high. That's why anytime you can source local foods, animals that were treated humanely. So if you have a local farm and they're really good to their animals, that meat has a higher vibration. That has higher healing capacities than, say, meat that was in a large mass produced farm where the animals don't get treated well. That has a lower vibration. We want to make sure that we're being in tune to the vibration of what we're putting in our bodies. So higher vibration foods we want to have, if you can get local produce from a farmer, that's even better because it hasn't sat in a semi truck and driven across the country and lost a lot of its vital nutrients and vital life force because that is healing to the body. So anything you can get local is better. And it also supports local too. So all those people are working hard and you benefit because you have higher vibration food for your body and they benefit because they're able to keep that source around for you. So a little bit more about high vibration and low vibration foods is high vibration foods are things like your veggies, your clean proteins, your grass-fed beef, your wild caught fish, really high mineral rich salt. So making sure you stay away from the iodized salt, looking more at a Redmond's real salt and then healthy fats. During the release phase, you're not doing fats, but during the maintenance phase, you're going to be adding some of those fats back in. And those foods truly carry a life force. They've been grown in the sun, they contain minerals from the earth, and they actually give your body energy. And we thrive off of that real energy. Where processed foods are a lot more low vibration. So those are things that come in a box or in a bag. They're often stripped of nutrients. They might have synthetic nutrients added to them. Your body does not know how to process synthetic nutrients. They might give you a quick, like, sugar spike or a quick feel good, but then you completely crash. So they don't have the life force that your body needs to heal. You need those higher vibration foods to truly heal. So think about the difference between biting into a fresh apple or eating a granola bar. One feels alive and crisp and nourishing. The other feels flat and leaves you wanting more and often craving more with the processed foods. They actually put chemicals in processed foods that make you crave more processed foods. So, food also impacts your mood and your inflammation. So, the processed sugar can cause your mood swings, brain fog, joint pain, whereas the mineral rich whole foods, they support that steady blood sugar, a calmer mood, and less pain. So, here's a simple swap for this week. If you normally grab an afternoon coffee if you're hitting a slump, try a green tea or an electrolyte drink instead. That might be enough of a boost where you don't need another cup of coffee. If you are drinking the King coffee, you can do an afternoon coffee as long as it's not impacting your sleep too much. That does have the adaptogenic reishi mushroom in it that has additional benefits, but I don't encourage any just kind of traditional ground coffee during the release phase. So focus on mineral rich foods or a tea instead. The electrolyte drinks that I like are the Relight. So the Relight has Redmond's real salt in it, whereas Element has fake salt. Your body doesn't know how to process that fake salt, and it can actually lead to flare-ups. And I saw this in my practice. People were having flare-ups when they would drink the Element, and I dove into it, and it is fake salt. So we don't want to be putting fake salt in our body. And I want you to think, what is one thing you could swap this week that might help you feel more energized? This might even be trying something different. If you've been eating the same meals on repeat for a while, try something different because your gut needs a rainbow of foods, not just one specific food. So, putting it all together, I want you to remember the scale doesn't tell the whole story. Your body is always changing. Your water, your hormones, your digestion, your healing, the number can't measure your energy, your sleep, your mood, your cravings. So just keep in mind that it's just a number on the scale and food isn't just about calories. So we are trying to just kind of erase the numbers aspect here and thinking more about vibration and energy. So the more life you put into your body, the more life you'll feel in return. So I encourage you to celebrate your wins beyond the scale. Choose foods that fuel you, not just fill you up. And healing is happening every single day as long as you are nourishing your body. So, here are some journaling prompts for you about food. So, I want you to think of a time when a meal left you energized and happy. What was different about that food? This could be the person cooking it. It could be the place you were at. It could be the source of the food. So, truly thinking, think of a time when a meal left you energized and happy. What was different about that food? The next one is, what is one simple food swap I can make this week to give my body more energy? What is one simple food swap I can make this week to give my body more energy? And last but not least, how can I practice gratitude for the food on my plate today? How can I practice gratitude for the food on my plate today? Gratitude promotes healing. We need to shift into a healing state. Be grateful for the farmers that grow your food. Be grateful for the truck drivers that bring it to the grocery store. Be grateful for the workers that are able to sell you that food. Be grateful to the local farmer that, him and his family grew that food by seed. So, how can you practice gratitude and incorporate that into every single meal of every single day? Because that's going to promote way more healing in the body than anything.